This podcast was recorded on a Wabakal, Yugambeh, Wangal and Biripi land. Hi, I'm Paralympian Kurt Fearnley.
And I'm Paralympian Ryley Batt.
And I'm Paralympian Sabljak.
And I'm Paralympian Sarah Rose.
And if you haven't guessed it, it's a pretty different episode today. This is our last episode for 2023. It's like an early Christmas party at You Little Ripper. So thanks for joining us. Before we get on to our sporting highlights, I think we should start with what's 23 looked for you. Ryley Batt, how's it been?
Oh, it's been an absolute cracking year, Kurt. We've had some amazing episodes on You Little Ripper. We've had some amazing results in the Paralympic world. For me personally, it would be being able to hand over the co-captaincy with the amazing Danny DeToro to two new leaders of this Australian Paralympic team. We have Angie Ballard and we have Curtis McGrath, who are leading the team into Paris in 2024. I cannot wait. How about you, Ella?
Thanks, Ryley. I think my highlight for the year is definitely when we, the Steelers, ended up back on top of the world. So we failed to qualify, fought our way back in Paris, and we are now the World Cup champions again. And it just sets the scene for next year in Paris. So that's been my moment. What about you, Sarah?
Well, there's been so much phenomenal Paralympic sport that's taken place this year, and I've loved seeing all the highlights and the brilliant work of our Paralympians. But for me personally, I've been writing a book called A is for Ability, which is all about disability and what differences make us unique and special. And I just can't wait to get that out to the world. So that would be my highlight of the year.
When are we seeing it, Sarah Rose?
You're going to see it next July, just before the Paralympic Games. So I'm so excited to get it out there because I get asked probably 20 times a day, why am I little? So I'm like, sweet, I can hand out a book now. It just explains disability aids, and a whole range of things in a really fun and educational way. There's going to be Auslan on all the pages. So I'm really looking forward to getting that out there.
Awesome. I think that the You Little Ripper audience have all just decided to buy one for a 6-month early 2024 Christmas present.
Well, Kurt, I'm saying it right here, right now on You Little Ripper. I've only read a few books in my life, maybe 3 of them. One was yours, Kurt. I'm definitely going to read this book. So I can count on my hands. I've got 5 fingers all up. I can count on my hands how many books I've read, and that's going to be one of them.
There are lots of pictures in there too for you, Ryley. Lots of pictures.
Perfect for me.
Well, if I then think of the perfect gift for my highlight of 2023, it's a picture book called A for Ability. Because my highlight of 2023 is the welcoming our new twins, the Margaret and Lillian. It was amazing, beautiful, happy, chaotic. Not surprised. It was. It's wonderful. Really, really wonderful. Although it has meant that it was 3 sleeps to Christmas now, and it's about 3 weeks to go. Look, it is like a ticking clock leading into Paris in 2024. All the athletes know that it's coming. It's 9 months out. We're seeing the intensity lift in our performances, in the training. There's also been some wonderful results for the year before our Paralympic Games. Let's get into the You Little Ripper moment. Ryley Batt, what's your You Little Ripper moment for all of 2023?
Oh, it's actually a really tough one. There's been some amazing moments, and I didn't really want to steal everyone else's moments because I'm sure we've got some pretty special ones. But for me, we had this athlete. We had Ahmed Kelly on the podcast a few episodes ago, and it's a special story for me because Ahmed Kelly's been representing Australia now for over a decade, trying to go for that gold at a world champs and a Paralympic level, and he's just taken out his first ever major gold at representing Australia at a World Cup level. So that for me is pretty special. It's a story of fight and persistence, and over a decade of swimming, that's hard work as well. So Ahmed Kelly for me, he gets the chocolates for me this year. How about you, Ella?
Well, my You Little Ripper moment of the year was 3-time Paralympic gold medalist, 2-time Com Games medalist, our very own Kurt Fearnley.
I was about to say, that guy sounds wonderful. 3 gold medals.
He's very wonderful. And because he's so wonderful and incredible at all things sports, he was inducted into the Sporting Hall of Fame here in Australia. So I just wanted to take a moment and recognize Kurt in all of his work that he's done, because that is a huge, huge achievement in our Australian sporting landscape. So well done, Kurt.
I don't deal with compliments very well at all, but thank you, Ella. It's been I forgot about that. That's been a massive year, and that was a real highlight as well. Sarah Rose.
My You Little Ripper moment has to be Hannah McDougall. Dr. Hannah McDougall is a dual Paralympian and bronze medalist in swimming. She competed in Athens and Beijing, then turned to cycling and has competed in a couple of world championships and has now moved to para triathlon. And she recently won the Oceanic Championships and won her first World Cup this year. It's come at a really tough time for her with losing her mum and her stepdad, and what a phenomenal achievement and what an absolute leader she is in the sport and many sports. So that's got to be my You Little Ripper moment. How about you, Kurt?
My You Little Ripper moment. He's the Boccia team are one of You Little Ripper's favourite members of the family. I think that apart from Lauren You Little Ripper Parker, I think it is Dan You Little Ripper number 2, Michelle. But Dan and his Boccia partner, Jemison Leeson, they were named as the AIS Sports Performance of the Year, Team of the Year. It is open to all teams from around the country. It is not a para-specific award. It was just based on performance, pure performance. And to see the Boccia team grow year on year on year and have the year that they have had, which is, when you see the benefit of investment into a sport and then they become number 1 in the world for the very first time, to see Jemison and Dan rewarded on the stage against their peers. I think that's just, for me, that's my highlight of multiple You Little Ripper years. And it's so exciting to see where this will go in 2024. Dan and Jemison, they just continue to grow in and out of their sport. They are wonderful ambassadors for the Paralympic movement, and they are so important for the future of the Paralympic movement as well. So my You Little Ripper, tilt of the hat, cheers of the champagne, Dan and Jemison. It has also, we've had some recent results around the grounds, and I get to kick us off. Recent result in table tennis has seen Australia won 9 out of 10 gold medals on offer at the 2023 Oceania Para World Championships in Honiara. That's right. 9 out of 10 gold medals, and that's resulted in 6 players qualifying for Paris in 2024, including our great friend of the pod, Danny DeToro, who has qualified for her 8th games. That's right, 8th games, and that allows an early qualification allows you to plan your year out, and you get to compete at exactly the tournaments that you think will get you peaking in September, in August and September for the Paralympics. So it must be such a relief, and I'm sure that our wheelchair rugby team, who there are 2 members here, will get their qualifications very early in 2024 and have that relieving moment as well.
I would absolutely love to have that moment right now, be able to be qualified for the Paralympic Games, and it's quite hard sitting here not being qualified, but it's super happy to hear of all these qualifications. 6 members from our table tennis team, as you said, already qualified, and I've been speaking to the great Danny DeToro recently, and she's absolutely pumped, and I know she's just going to grow in the next year. She's going to be a better athlete. She's got the confidence now. She can plan her trip next year. So I love seeing Danny DeToro happy, and she's look out for Paris, and look out, I guess, in LA. She's just going to be improving throughout time.
Isn't that amazing? Danny DeToro happy is like, I don't know.
When isn't she happy? When isn't she happy?
But when she's like really in that moment, I think she's one of the most wonderful people in the world to be around. Yeah, she's one of the most wonderful people.
Can you imagine the cuddles she's going to throw out now around the village, Kurt?
Also, a shout out to all those that qualified in the table tennis team: Nathan Pelizier, Yang Chen, Marlene, Chris Haddis, and Jessie Chan. I hear there's been some stuff happening in para rowing,
Yeah, look, there has been. We have had Jed Alstwager and Nikki Ayers and Nikki Ayres were announced as the Para Crew of the Year after breaking through this first World Championship gold medal in the PR3 Mixed Double Sculls event at the recent Rowing Australia Awards. That is massive. So Al Schwager was also named as the Rower of the Year. So this is an award that was voted by his peers from the Australian rowing team. And it's never easy to win a player's player or a rower's rower of the year, especially if you're amongst a team. So that just goes out to Jed, and it shows how awesome he is, because he was also presented with the Rowing Leadership Award as well. So massive year for Jed, massive year for Australian rowing, and I cannot wait to see how they go next year in Paris. Sarah?
Lauren Parker, double world champion, para-athlete, reconfirmed her standing as among New South Wales leading Paralympians when she captured the Athlete of the Year with the Disability Award at the recent New South Wales Champions of Sport ceremony. She was also named as the Female Athlete of the Year at the Australian Sports Performance Award from the AIS and shared that with the amazing James Turner. Over to you, Ryley.
Lauren Parker, I don't know how many times we've mentioned her on this podcast, but she must be either sick of it or just constantly giving us views on this podcast. But congratulations to Lauren there. That's a great one, Sarah Rose. She's had an absolute cracking year. And as much as it was hard for me to see her win the New South Wales Champion of Sport Award over me as well, because I was a finalist as well in that category, it was hard. I had to give her a little bit of a golfer clap. She definitely deserved it. She's had a phenomenal year. But for me, my news is a little bit sad. It's so prepare yourselves, guys. I know in our last podcast, we were pumping up the Aussie Bells. They're on their way to qualify for a spot for the Paris 2024 Games, for their fourth Paralympic Games in a row. But unfortunately, they fell short to go to their fourth Paralympic Games, and unfortunately won't be joining us in Paris 2024 alongside the Aussie Storm, who are the men's goalball teams. Yes, this does hurt, and I did shed a few tears over this because we know how much the Aussie Bells are our favourite Paralympic team out there, but we know they're going to be there in spirit. We know they're still behind the whole Australian Paralympic team, and they're still well and truly in the mob. So for me, it was a bit of a story of a bit of a courageous story. They've been fighting for so many years. They've had some tough competitors. They've had some amazing upsets, some big wins, and sad as I am, I know they'll be back. They'll be back, Kurt.
Now, looking ahead, I was thinking about how we could talk about what you're looking forward to in 2024, and I think everyone's going to say the Paralympic Games, but it's almost, I want to have a yarn about what each of your years will look like, especially with Ryley and Ella, who are still in the sport, and then what is it that you're looking forward to? What's the year look like for the Steelers?
Can you stop touching on that soft spot, please, Kurt?
Hopefully, it will look like qualification at some point in time.
I'll let you answer this one, Ella.
Like I always say, Riles, we can't be bitter. We've just got to be better. Next year in March, we look to qualify. So we head over to New Zealand. Thank goodness it's in New Zealand and not in Europe. I think that gives us over here in Australia a little bit more of an advantage. So we are competing in the repechage tournament in New Zealand in March, and then hopefully everything crossed. And I've got no doubt in our mind that we will qualify for the games next year. So it's baby steps at this stage, but we're going to qualify first, and then we're going to get to the big dance.
Don't you love the positivity from, I think as our special guest in the last podcast, we had Shay Graham saying it was a certainty that we're going to qualify. We've had Ella say it was a certainty. No pressure there, like no pressure at all. But look, I agree with Ella. It's I take it like this. I think it's actually a good thing in a way that we're going to this repechage tournament, because it's another international tournament for us. It's against some world-class teams. It's not going to be a pushover. It's going to be tough work. And I think it's going to be great for us to start our season and hopefully start it with a bang, fingers crossed, in March. And yeah, lucky it is in New Zealand. It beats that extra long trip to Europe or whatnot. But I'm really excited for it, and I think it's something for us to look forward to and drive for, and then hopefully we can get the ball rolling there and go into some other international tournaments and finish off our season strong in the Paris 2024 games. So as bad as it was and as hard as it is not to be qualified yet, I think it's a blessing in disguise.
Sarah Rose, what are you looking forward to in the year ahead? Is it your book?
Well, I'm certainly excited about that. Cannot wait. Some few more podcasts. But I'm really excited to be heading over to Paris as athlete welfare officer. So I cannot wait to support the athletes. Really excited about that. Watch all you legends compete over there. No pressure again, but I know it. So I just can't wait. How about you, Kurt? What are you most excited about next year?
You know what I get excited about in a Paralympic year is who's the one that's going to come that we don't know. You know, they may be familiar to us. We may have seen them at a previous games. They may have made a final, but then all of a sudden it's somebody like Rowan Crothers, who was yet to win a Paralympic medal before Tokyo, comes home with 2 gold and a silver medal. And that the image of him on the side of the lane rope with his 2 hands up in the air, look at as strong as I've ever seen anyone, where he captures that the Australian attention. Who's the name? Who's the face? What's the story that we're going to hear that'll define 2024? It's the unknown always makes me a bit excited. Thank you, our listeners. It's been an amazing 2023. There's been so much that's happened, but it is going to be an even bigger 2024, a Paralympic year. This is where it all happens. And you know that we love our parasport and we want to share how amazing it is with the rest of the world. And I know I've said this 100 times already, but this time is the time you actually do it. Wherever you get your podcasts, and you share it and you like it. And what else do they do, Ryley Batt?
Everyone out there, everyone listening, tell your friends, tell your family about what we are doing here. Spread the word. And please, as we always say, leave us a nice review. Please, 5-star.
And we'll be back with more interviews with your favourite athletes next year. So make sure you've followed You Little Ripper on socials and wherever you get your podcasts.
We'd like to say a big thank you to Toyota for supporting this episode of You Little Ripper. Oh, what a feeling. Thanks, Toyota.
Thanks, Toyota. Happy 2023. Merry Christmas and everything in between.